Welcome to my sniping tutorial. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. I really do appreciate that. We're going to get right into how to become a better sniper or how to even start sniping. The first thing I want to start off with, we are not wasting any time. The first thing I want to start off with is why you should listen to me. So, if you look on our screen here, we have 968,000 coins. That's really not that impressive. Everybody seems to have that. Oh, just kidding. I actually have 972,000 coins thanks to that Matt Forte selling. Okay, so let's show us the team. I have put $0 real dollars in this game besides the price tag of $60 right when it came out. So here's my team. This is the team I put together. As the time I am recording this is a pretty good team. The best running back in the game. The wide receiver core could be better, but I went chemistries, a decent, all 100, 200K wide receivers, quarterback 200K, offensive line very expensive as well. So I've put a lot of money in offensive line, Ozzy, and then on the defense side, that's where the real coins come in. There we go. We got Ryan Shazier, Anthony Barr, and Sean Lee. Vontez Burfict backing them up. We got Sean Taylor and Krause at the safety positions, and then our dollars were spent. Sean Taylor, which I already said, Night Train Lane, and Josh Norman. Defensive line looking pretty good. We're putting $0 in the game at this stage in Madden before Christmas, a couple weeks before Christmas. I think it's pretty good. Now let's get into the filter. This is what. Okay, let's slow down a little bit. I'm not going to talk about what filter I use because it's a little advanced for those who are just starting getting out. So the first thing you got to notice is what is a bad filter. And I'm going to show you what a bad filter is. I think that's a good place to start. Did something else sell? I didn't even know I had it on the auction house. All right, what is a bad filter? If we go to the Bears, Elite Bears, you will see that the newest card up is for 54 minutes. Now what Madden does is there's 100 cards on the auction house. 100, I believe that's what it is. I haven't actually counted them this year. 100 cards on the auction house. What it is, it's not the newest 100 bears that are put up. It's actually the 100 bears that are closest to expiring. So what that means is if there's a lot of bear cards put up, then you're not going to get the newest ones because the smallest you can put something up on the auction is for 1 hour. So if you put it up for 1 hour and you just put it up, I don't see it. So if you put something up for 100 coins, I'm missing it, which is crazy because I want it. So we have to change our filter a little bit. So something you may think about doing is switching it to, okay, we got Elite Bears, that's great, is to just all players, or you could do collectibles if you want. And look at that, magically, we'll see in the new cards put up right there. That's what you want to see. 59 minutes, perhaps they put it up for 8 hours, you might see 7 hours right there. 7 hours and 59 minutes if you click on the card that Howard sold. 12 hours or 24 hours, depending on your filter. But you want to see the newest cards showing up, or at least some new cards. It doesn't have to be a filter that has 24-hour cards put up, but at least 1 hour cards put up on the auction house. If not, your filter is wrong, and we need to change it. So Bears, all players is working out okay. You could also do other things. So instead, say maybe you don't want to do that, which this will, I could have kept on all players. You may do 90 to 94 Bears, which I don't even know if that's very good right now, but that could get not good at all. There's not many cards on there. So unless you're trying to really get a good deal on a few of these cards, this isn't a good filter because there's just not enough players on there. The odds of hitting something are just not as good. So I would say that's not a filter. You want to look and see the filter should be pretty full. Ideally, it's pretty much all full, but you're still getting the new cards. That's the plan of attack. So maybe instead of that, you would do 85 to 89 if you want to, or you could just keep it on all players, which is fine too. And you see it. Now, if say you decide on 85 to 89 Bears, or just instead of that, let's not even do that. Let's do Elite. And let's just do all players. So we see all the Bear players, the newest ones, whether they're really good or not so good, elite cards. So you're like, well, how do I know if it's a good price? That's, of course, a good question. How do I know if that Martellus Bennett or that McPhee or that Jeffrey is a good price? Well, it does take practice. Unfortunately, it does. There is an invaluable tool, which I'll hopefully remember to put in the description. Mutthead.com/prices. Which hopefully I'll put that in there. If you don't use it, you're doing it wrong. It really can help not only help you see if it's a good price, but also after you bought the card, see what they're selling for. Because maybe you just knew it was a good deal. You're like, yeah, that looks like a good deal, but how much should I sell it for? You're questioning, okay, can I make this off of it? Look on Mutthead, see what they're selling for. That's a good place to start. That's a pretty good place to start. All right, so I've been on the auction house for a while, so I can pretty easily tell that those are not good prices that I'm seeing right now, or I'm pretty sure, I hope I can see that. I think, but I usually don't do bears, so who knows. But one thing that you could do is instead of doing newest, so we know we're seeing the newest cards. You see, this Brian Urlacher just got put up, look, 30 seconds ago. Let's see if a new card gets put up. I don't know why I'm doing this now. New bear. All right, there you go. You see a new bear for 9,800, which may be an okay price. I'm not actually sure. But I usually don't do the bear filter. I'll talk about my filter in a few minutes. But you see that we have a Brian Urlacher brand new. So we're seeing the new cards. What you can do is switch it from newest to buy it now. This will really help attack that idea of, okay, I don't know my prices, so why snipe? Well, you can learn your prices, of course. Get on the auction house. Maybe just try getting the Bears and Bengals down, or whatever teams you want. Or the filter I use, maybe some chemistries. Get those down and just slowly get it up in your head. I know the prices will change, but you can, if you're just on a little bit every so often, you should be able to kind of keep up on it. But even if you don't know the prices, just do it by buy it now. The cheaper cards they're always selling. This McPhee card sells all the time. So even if you bought it for 51, I bet you could. It probably is selling for 6,000, 7,000 right now. So you probably could make a few hundred coins, which isn't really worth it probably. But that card, I know you see a lot of them, but these are all going to sell. They're going to sell. I know it's even only up for 21 minutes. It's going to sell almost every time. So most of the time, there is times when it doesn't. Just put it back up. It will sell. Say it doesn't sell, you just put it back up. All right, so we see that, and then we'll just go, okay, so Jeffrey, 8,400, Willie Young, 8,600, and you could keep going, Urlacher, if you want to see it by cheapest. Now remember, this is the 100 cards closest to expiring, so you're not seeing all the McPhees, you're not seeing all the Jeffreys, you're not seeing all the Willie Youngs, you're not seeing all of them. But what's great, this gets on to my next point about overpricing. So overpricing is basically you don't have to put it up for the cheapest one on the auction house. Now say let's just see, okay, so did that McPhee sell? 6,100. See, that doesn't make any sense why people do that. But if I just go left outside linebacker, you see all the McPhees now. 4,100, look at that. So you could actually buy this McPhee for 4,100 right now, which I probably should, but I'm not going to. 4,100 for McPhee and sell it for, we just seen one sell for 6,100. How does that make any sense? As you see it sold. How does that make any sense? Well, the reason why it makes sense is because people will get on there and just search by Elite Bears or whatever filter they're using. Maybe the 4-3 filter, I don't know. They'll look for the cheapest bear and they'll see McPhee for 6,100 and they buy it just like that because they're trying to get the card they want and just move on, or they just don't have good knowledge of the auction house and how it works. Either way, you're going to take advantage of those people. I hope you will, because no matter how many people are doing it, there's always going to be those people out there that's doing it. So don't worry about that. You're still going to have success in doing this, no matter what. There's always going to be people doing that. So the idea of overpricing is you don't have to put it up for the cheapest on the auction house. I actually encourage you not to do it, especially with cheaper cards. With more expensive cards, a lot of times they don't sell as often, so you may have to put it up for the cheapest for it to sell. You have to look on Mutthead, see what they're selling for. If you see one that just sold for 80 and you just bought it for 60, but there's some up for one up for 70, 75, 78, and then 89 or something, maybe you can fit it for 80 or 82 or somewhere in there, and all those will sell and yours will sell. It doesn't have to sell every time you put it up. Put it up for an hour, come back. Maybe you're not still on, maybe you are still on, put it back up. Put it up overnight, which is also a great idea because the auction house gets dead and those cards will probably sell overnight as well. So there's a lot of strategies you can take to be more successful at sniping if you just put a little bit of time in knowing your prices. That always helps, and really just overpricing your cards can be an invaluable way to make a bunch of coins. Mutthead is also a nice tool when you go to sell it. Look what these McPhees are selling for. See that they're selling for 6,000 and 7,000 coins, and it doesn't make any sense. But if you don't have a lot of coins, this may be a good place to start. Why not start with McPhee or another card like that goes for 4,000 or 5,000 coins and start selling them for 6,000 and 7,000 coins and make a little bit of coins there. Don't worry, we can all do it. There's plenty of people putting them up for that cheap. Don't worry about there being too much competition. You will be successful at this, I promise. Just follow it. It doesn't sell after an hour. Put it up again. It will probably sell. All right, so there's that. So if you don't know your prices, guess what? We got that fixed. Just go buy it now and have a good old time. I don't know why I took it off all players. Let's keep it on that. So say you're getting sick of the Bears. You're like, okay, that's good. Again, you could bring the filter even farther down. You can do Elite 85 to 89, which you may have to do later in the year. or 9094 or whatever else. Again, I'll talk about when I get to my filter. So Elite Bears, say you're sick of the Bears, I'm sick of them. So we're going to move on to the Bengals. The cheapest Bengal up, Whitworth at 10,000. A bunch of Whitworths. We see some AJ Greens and Andy Dalton. So let's look at this good old Whitworth, and let's actually look at how many Whitworths there are up. A lot, of course. A lot of them up for around 12. So you can look again on Mutthead. What are they selling for? It doesn't have to be Whitworth. I could have went AJ Green as well, and just go and try to make some coins on some AJ Greens. As you see, there's a bunch up for that price, but they don't necessarily all show up on the auction house because the 100 cards closest to expiring are the ones that are showing up, not the 100 newest cards. I hope that makes sense. So no matter what filter you use, the same cards are still going to show up. I mean, whatever this is called, switching it between overall and number of bids and all that. So the newest cards will always show up. So I hope that helps. Do it by buy it now. And then when you really get your prices down, so say you got your Bengal prices down, you're like, you know what, I know these prices. Now, let's start doing it by newest. That way, you will see, maybe you'll see a Carlos Dunlap over here for, let's not say 5,000 because that would show up 20,000 coins. You see it for 20,000 coins. Guess what? You missed that snipe if you did it by buy it now. But if you're doing it by newest and you know that that's a good price, right now it is at least, if you bought that Carlos Dunlap for 20,000, you go ahead and sell it for 50, 55, whatever he sells for. You sell it and make a nice profit of 30K right there, just because you're starting to get those prices going on your head in your head. And even if you don't know it, you might be able to spot, okay, that looks a little cheap right there as Carlos Dunlap comes right up. You could honestly probably buy that Whitworth as well, and we've seen a bunch of them up for that 12-ish range. 11,750, close to 12, and make a little bit of coins, maybe 1,500 right there on Whitworth. Hey, somebody else might have the same thing in mind. And guess what? That AJ Green as well for 13,250. The cheapest one up on this is 16,750. Guess what? That's definitely going to sell a couple thousand coins right there for whoever bought that AJ Green, which wasn't us, which we should have probably just bought it, but we didn't. So say you are good with the Bengals, and then maybe go Bills or whatever team you want to go with, and you will have success as well on the Bills, I'm sure. Whatever team you find the most attractive, you may go with. Bills, maybe not. I think the Packers are good with Jordy Nelson, really cheap. Seahawks and Clay Matthews and Morgan Burnett. There's a lot of good ones for the Packers. I think again, there's way too many on here, though, so we have to make a little bit of adjustment, maybe 85 to 89. Does that fix it? It doesn't even close to fix it. So maybe you have to do a little bit of changing to get it to the point where they're the newest cards up. That's not a great filter, 9094. So instead of doing that, you could do all kinds of stuff. Switch the cat value around. The whole idea is that the newest cards will show up on the auction house. The Packers maybe not so good because there's just so many of them. So you could switch to program, maybe do it by ultimate team base set. That sometimes fixes the teams, which it did. And you see a Clay Matthews there for 3,800 coins. That is so stinking cheap. You could probably sell that for close to 6,000 coins. I know there's a lot up. Overpricing. Don't worry about it. Look on Mutthead. See what they're selling for. You can really just focus on Clay Matthews, Jordy Nelson, Daniels, Mike Daniels. I'm sure there's another card I just missed. Cheap Packers or cheap Seahawks or cheap Bengals or whatever team you want. Cheap Bears. Whatever team. You could just focus on those and make a lot of coins. That is the craziest thing about how this works. So we're good with that. All right, so we found a filter that works under Packers. If you want to approach that, if you like your Packers, do Elite, do Ultimate Team Base Set, and there you go. You got a filter that gets the newest cards up. But now let's get a little more advanced, and let's go to chemistry. This is my favorite. I think I'm kind of the original one on YouTube that did chemistries like this. And the basic idea is there's some chemistries that just work beautifully. Denver defense is one. So I'm going to start with Denver defense. Of course, this is right now. Denver defense might not be as pretty here soon. But I like newest because I want to see those really big snipes and try to get them. And this is why it's kind of a hybrid between making coins like 1,000 and 2,000 here and making 200,000 coin snipes, or the biggest one I had was an Ed McCaffrey over 400,000 coin snipe. That's what the difference is between other filters and mine, is that you're going to be able to make coins, but you're also going to have a shot at getting some really big snipes. Now, if you're not comfortable with newest, again, you can just do it by buy it now and be doing pretty well. Now, say there's too many people up on the filter. Again, there's stuff that we can do to change that. So there is not right now. I mean, I know it says 58, but I'm pretty sure there's 4 hours. Yeah, there's plenty of people up. So I mean, there's plenty where you can still get some good hits there. So I like this filter a lot. No Broncos going up right now, but you could say this is later on in the season and you're watching this and you're like, this doesn't work because there's too many Broncos up. Switch this. Maybe you do 90 to 94 Denver defense. Right now there's not many cards, but obviously later in the year that's going to work out really well. And you got to kind of mess with it to see what works for you. Of course, these filters will not be as good, or they may get better as the year goes on. It's kind of hard to predict what cards EA comes out with, but for now, Denver defense works pretty well. Now, if we keep going on, I think the Dallas offense is one of the best ones, perhaps the very best filter on the game. Dallas offense has so many good players from ranging of values that it's just incredible how many coins you can make on Dallas offense. The offensive linemen are usually a good spot to start because they sell so often. Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and his name is Tyron, right? Yes. Frederick as well. Sells so much. Ezekiel Elliott shows up quite a lot. Tony Romo, if you want a cheap snipe, you can buy him for under 10K a lot and sell him for almost 15K at this stage in Madden. And I'm sure later on it might change. Well, it's going to change, but you'll still be able to get those cards. Again, if you're like, there's too many cards, there's too many, switch this to 90-94, and guess what? You just fixed it. There's actually quite a lot of Cowboys under 90-94 if you could try that if you want, but not enough to fit my fancy. Leary just got put up. So Dallas offense is a great one that I would encourage you to test out. Also, another one that I like is Seattle defense. Again, what's going to happen later on the year is that all these will probably be pretty good filters. There's nothing good that sees that. But if you're not sure what these are worth, just do it by buy it now and start looking. All right, so what's the cheapest Chancellor up? All right, that's 23,000. And guess what? You already kind of know the prices just by doing this, kind of going through it. The cheapest KJ Wright, okay, he's actually, I think he only goes for like 30. So you might have to check that one. But again, that's just me from looking at it often. If you're not sure and you see, it's not the worst thing if you miss one snipe. Just get the price up there in your head, and maybe you'll catch it later on the night and get a good snipe there. These other ones will work really well later on the year, but right now they're just not as good, in my opinion. Now, ones that don't work as well right now and won't work probably for the rest of the year is stuff like chain movers and deep threat. Unfortunately, it looks like it's almost full, but I mean, it's almost there, but it's not quite. We're not at 59 minutes. We're seeing cards that are 2 minutes old and not cards that are up for 59 minutes or more, 7 hours or whatever. They're not brand new, so you're going to miss out on those really good snipes. You may be able to get Jordy Nelson's all day for 4,000 coins, which is great, and you'll sell them for 6 or 7, but that's fantastic. But really, my method is, okay, yes, you can hit those, that's great, but I also want to try to get those big snipes, so I kind of mix the two. Yes, buy them, I'm not saying don't, but also go for those big snipes as well. So to fix it, you could try a few things. If you like chain movers, is go to 85 to 89, and guess what? Chain movers now works because we took out some of the cards that are on that filter. Jordy Nelson for 4,800 there. And then if you don't like that, if you want higher rated snipes, higher level snipes, maybe you'll go to 90-94, and guess what? That filter is full as well, and you have a really good filter right here if you're looking for big snipes, 90-94 chain movers, and you could honestly keep refreshing if you're that kind of person, or just move on to something else, which is what I'm going to do because I am not that kind of person. I get too bored, so I got to go to something else. So the next one I like, if you stay with this filter, is Deep Threat. Deep Threat is pretty full as well. If you go to Deep Threat, you will find that it's a full filter, and look at that. You're seeing really high value snipes that could potentially happen. Not right now, of course, but you could potentially see it. If you don't like that, you could also switch to the lower level ones if you don't want that much competition. And guess what? There's a Whitworth for 8,900, and that's actually really tempting. And I think I'm just going to buy it just because I haven't bought anything yet. And as you see, somebody bought it right before me, and I'm actually just going to buy this 10,000 just because I know it will sell for 13. And guess what? Once we buy that, you will find that you will make a few thousand coins. One thing that I've completely neglected during the whole video is that EA takes out 10%. So if you're getting 10% taken out, you got to take that into account. 13,000, take out 10%. I'm a math guy, but you don't have to be to figure it out. Move the decimal over a little bit. You got 1,300 coins. So just move it over 10%. And you take that away, you're at 11,700. Guess what? We just made 1,700 coins. I did have a Matt Forte. Look at all those coins we have. And we just got a Whitworth. So we just made 1,700 coins on Whitworth. Remember to take into account the 10%. which is why it's really key to notice that when you're going for high-level snipes that you are going to make some coins. Yes, it's a quick math problem, but hopefully you paid attention in math class and you're good to go. If not, you can always have a calculator nearby, of course, as well. If you're going for those big snipes, most likely if it's a really, really big snipe, you won't have to worry about calculating right at the moment because you'll know. And if you're not sure, you probably have enough time to do the calculation anyway because it will probably still be there. Or you just missed out on a little snipe. It's not that big a deal. So don't get too frustrated with that. If you miss out on a big snipe and you do some calculator work, well, you probably shouldn't do that. You should probably just go with your gut and buy it. Or you just see that you know it's a good deal. Now, I need to switch back to Elite because I like getting the big snipes. 85 to 89 is great. It works out well, but I really like the just Elite. So I usually stick away from chain movers and deep threat because those do not work well with just Elite, the Elite filter. Now, ankle breaker is fantastic. Bruising back is also fantastic, which I actually didn't do because my quality was messed up. Is also fantastic. I'm actually going to switch this to all as well so I can maybe get a really good deal on a coach or a jersey or anything of the such. So bruising back is pretty good as well. Now I'm going to keep going. I hope this is informative. I will go on to route running and then I'm going to keep going. I don't know if route running works. Look how full this 59, 59, 59. As you see, this filter is not going to last too much longer because there's so many cards being put up for route running. So yes, it may be working now, but be careful because that one will probably not work. If you don't see 59 minutes or 7 hours, you're not seeing the new card show up, you might want to switch your filter and just neglect route running. Slot expert might be one that I need to neglect. Nope, is actually good to go. It depends on when you're sniping as well. What is good to do? Now, I skipped some. What I particularly like on offense, I'm not going to go through every single one. I particularly like bruising back. Ankle breaker's okay, but I generally avoid it just because I don't know. Route running and slot expert I used to do, but it's kind of slowly going away as more cards come out. Zone blocker is great. These offensive ones line will still get better as more cards get out. Right now, there's just not enough really, but they'll keep getting better. I really like line pusher and pass rusher. Really, everything on defense is pretty good. I personally have never had too much success with tackle machine, but some people swear by it. As well as the edge setter and edge blitzer. But all the other ones I think are fantastic, as well as battle ready is great. Battle ready is pretty full. I think it's completely full, actually. And you will see high-level snipes there as well. So I hope this is informative. Remember, there's a lot of things I know. But first and foremost, you have to not even know your prices. You just got to know about, let's start with buy it now. Do cheapest and see if you can make 1,000 coins or 2,000. The key part to that is overpricing. So that's just a quick recap. Overprice on cheap cards. It's hard to do on more expensive cards. I know that. But try to do it on cheaper cards. That would be a great start. Use Mutt-Head. Mutt-Head is such a great tool. It will help you so much that you will see that you're making a lot more coins off your cards, and don't be discouraged if it doesn't sell after an hour. And after you got all that, maybe you start to pick up some prices and you got them going, and maybe you want to try some other sniping methods like mine, or maybe try your own. I encourage you to try your own and read the comments and see what other people are trying. Legend collectibles or something else that people have said is really successful. Obviously, as the year goes on, you're going to have to make some changes. Right now, at this present moment, it's made me a lot of coins. But in a month or even after Christmas or whenever you may be watching this filter may get, you may have to make some small adjustments to make it fit your style or your prices, whatever you got going on in your head. It may help you get to the filter that you're looking for to make the most coins. There's not a perfect filter for everyone, but this is the filter I use. I hope it does help. I hope that you don't all just start using my filter and I don't make any coins. That will be okay. I think we got a lot of coins out there that everybody can make. So I hope this does help. I hope this was informative to those that are new to sniping or just trying to brush up on everything. And I don't even know. I hope it does help, though. That's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. ChewbaccaLemma out.